Little disclaimer before we start. Most of the script was written right about when That Handsome Devil Power Hour was released. I only just now had motivation to finish it, so if anything in here is outdated, apologies. And remember that all the things I say in this video are strictly my opinion. I just wanted to yap. What if I told you that all of your dreams could come true and that there is still hope for you and me? Well, that's how I felt when the new THG Power Hour was released. I was so sure that there was no way in hell that Chonny would cover them just because he mentioned the song in Nerd, and yet here I am making another analysis video for another collection of Chonny Jash songs. Why? Well, I don't know. I don't have much else to do right now, and none of my friends want to hear me blabbering on about this man who covers songs and makes masterpieces. So, now people on the internet can be subjected to that torture instead. Is this script already sounding too profound? Well, I guess it's time for another analysis. So, this Power Hour consists of 5 songs yet again. These songs are Shut Up You're Stupid, Evil People, Savages, A Drink to Death, and lastly, Chonny's Inferno. I was actually super surprised when this Power Hour came out. I was just minding my own business scrolling on Twitter when I saw that Chonny had tweeted, so I checked it out and actually freaked out when I saw A, a link, and B, the words, That Handsome Devil. So for anyone who doesn't know, That Handsome Devil is an American rock band. The chances that you've heard at least one of their songs are pretty high. Most likely you've heard Charlie's Inferno, that was pretty well known. They're known for mixing different genres and also known for their unique vocals. The reason this Power Hour was so hyped was because That Handsome Devil was one of the artists mentioned in the previous Power Hours song Nerd. This led fans, including myself, to believe that the next Power Hours would consist of the artists mentioned, being That Handsome Devil, Will Wood, and Brian David Gilbert. The fact that we actually got That Handsome Devil was so unexpected, though everyone went crazy. And this is future me writing this part of the script, but he did also end up covering Will Wood, but then opted not to cover BDG and instead do a Chonny Jash Power Hour as a perfect end to the Power Hour project. Okay, so a short summary of the story that might possibly be being told in this Power Hour is that Chonny was in love with someone, but they ended up betraying him at some point. The line, "I didn't understand, we were holding hands," indicates Chonny was not the one to cause this fallout. I think the next part of this story shows how Chonny then turns his anger on the world and governments and, people at the top. Basically, he's angry at the world because of the wrongdoings of one person. This then results in Chonny kind of going into some sort of depressive state. He still wants to be with this guy, judging from the line, "I want to hold you closely, I want to smell your sweat," but then later in the exact same song, he says there will be no romance. We get 100% confirmation that Chonny is going through some sort of breakup from the line, "We were nice together, weren't we once?" I think that at the end of this song, Chonny literally drinks himself to death and just ends up, straight up dying. And then this is when Chonny's Inferno takes place, being a song about what happens after he dies, aka he goes to hell. Shut Up You're Stupid is the first song of the EP, and the only song with an accompanying music video, in which Chonny wears one of my favourite outfits I've ever seen. Seriously, how the hell does this man have so much style? Anyway, this song is very, very, very gay. Really gay, and not even subtle, hinting at it being gay. One of the lines is literally, "I'll get the courage to ask him out, he'll say he don't like men." And even the video description says now 50% more fruity. So yeah, this song is amazing. For anyone wondering, Chonny is pansexual. He confirmed it in Q&A, and then also more recently after I wrote this script, there was more talk about it after, especially in the live Black and White, I think it's called. And it definitely shows in this song. The fact that the original song wasn't gay, but then Chonny made it gay is the best thing ever, and I'm 100% here for it. This song is pretty self-explanatory when it comes to the meaning behind it. It's basically just a love song. This kind of love that Chonny describes seems to be more like the crazy kind of love that's fast-paced, going out places and generally just being crazy. He says he can't keep his mind off that kind of love, sitting on the sidewalk getting high and stuff. Another line that I'll draw attention to is, he does his best impression of me, says it came out unintentionally. I don't know if this is too far of a logical leap, but this could be about, coming out as pan. Maybe, I'm not sure, that might be a leap. The song Evil People is where things really start to take a turn for the worse. Things seem to have changed in Chonny's relationship. He mentions that the world will make us evil people, saying that because the people in charge are evil, it causes everyone below them to be influenced by their actions. I think that this is either directly before a breakup or directly after. The line, "Please don't go, I need you," could either be him begging someone to not leave, meaning it was pre-breakup, or lamenting the fact that they did leave, meaning it was post-breakup. I personally think it was the former, due to the line, "If you leave, I'll be through," meaning that it was before the breakup. Still, this could be Chonny quoting his former self, e.g. pre-breakup. It would also make sense for the whole song talking about how the world is run by evil people and the world is full of evil people. He's mad at the fact he lost someone he cared about, and although he doesn't sound particularly mad, it's pretty clear that he is upset about what is happening and is deciding to turn his anger and sadness to the world rather than that one person. I think he thinks that it was the world that made that one person break up with him rather than any other circumstances. I love Evil People so much. As Chonny says, it's one of the most normal songs he's made. There are quite a few lyric changes throughout the song, but it seems like little things Chonny changed just to fit his narrative and no huge changes. There are no crazy pitch changes or loud drops, but instead the whole thing keeps a sort of lo-fi atmosphere. Savages is where Chonny really starts to express his anger and pain, but still decides to take it out on the world rather than the person he's actually mad at. Savages is kind of a goofy song in terms of the way it sounds. It's quite upbeat and almost mocking in a way. The song continues the trend of focusing on the higher up people and the people in governments and establishments. This song makes the story take a turn even darker. Chonny is now becoming depressed following the breakup. He's now searching for ways to be high or drunk so that these feelings of hurt and anger can go away. He wants to go back to this person. He wants them to tell him something comfortable and loving because he's numb and he feels nothing. The song ends with, "I don't understand, we were holding hands," meaning this breakup wasn't expected and he didn't even fully comprehend why it led to this. And the almost somber ending leads perfectly into the fourth song of the album, A Drink to Death. A Drink to Death is yet another turn for the worst. And I know I used this analogy in the last video, but the songs in this para also kind of relate to the 5 stages of grief, which are also commonly associated with how someone gets over a breakup. The lines aren't too clear-cut where one stage ends and the other begins, but Shut Up You're Stupid could be seen as denial because he's in denial about a breakup or rejection. Evil People, although sounding calm, is a pretty angry song. Like, he's obviously mad, he's directing his hate towards the world. Savages could be seen as bargaining. I also like the interpretation of that because it ties into themes of economies and governments and establishments and how they too have, bargaining of sorts. And then A Drink to Death would be depression. A Drink to Death starts off slower than the original version of the song, which I think is really fitting for the themes and the story Chonny is trying to tell. This song speaks about how after the end of the relationship, many people can go down dark paths of self-destruction. He says if he passes out, wake him up, he may be drunk, but he's not drunk enough. He literally wants to drink himself to death. I love how this song literally just ends with the vocals and no instrumental as a perfect ending to the song. We can assume that the main character dies as a result of alcohol poisoning, due to the next song being, you guessed it, Chonny's Inferno. The final song of the power hour is Chonny's Inferno. The song that literally everyone had been begging for, and it was just so fitting to replace the name Charlie with the name Chonny. I love how the lyrics are slightly changed for each part, but still relate back to the original song, even in some cases being opposites, like he ran his shower ice cold or he ran his shower red hot. Like, I like how it's a complete opposite. You can see here in past work that Chonny is obviously not too hot on religion. Examples of this in To Love, Hokum Will Ye Faithful, and Hallelujah. And while he does say that he doesn't outright hate it, it's pretty obvious he doesn't agree with certain people who use religion as like an excuse for being a shitty person, The song begins with some backstory about his life and states how at around the age of 35 he dies, and take a guess how. It's fair to guess that this was due to the alcohol poisoning. He ascends to heaven, but is stopped by an angel. He attempts to bribe it, is eventually sent to hell. Once he arrives, though, he realizes the place isn't really that bad, and it's mainly just got a bad reputation. I love this spin on the original song. I love how the end has a part from each song, having the original lines from the 2 overlapping parts of Charlie's Inferno, as well as some lines from Shut Up You're Stupid, Evil People, Savages, and A Drink to Death. It's the perfect way to end this album, bringing all the songs together. So, this conclusion is written in the present. I think I can safely say that this was one of my favourite power hours I just love the vibes of each of the songs. I love the Shut Up Your Stupid music video, and I will never forgive Chonny for accidentally releasing Chonny's Inferno hours before it was planned, because I was literally out shopping and I opened my phone and saw the new upload and I had to drop everything, and my family were like, "What is wrong with you?" They didn't understand. All in all, amazing power hour. It was just really wicked, and I love how you can sort of patch together an overarching story in this. Whether it's intended or not is up for debate, but I like to think it was planned. Anyway, I'm Toby. Thank you for having an amazing attention span and making it to the end of the video. Consider subscribing, yada yada yada. See you in the next video.